Hello and welcome to Com300 Interprofessional Communication. You're watching the course navigation video. My name is Dr. Jonina Anderson Lopez. You'll hear me in the lecture videos attached to the announcements. When you have a question about the course, don't hesitate to review my contact information and reach out, or you can always message me on Slack. Like you, I divide my time between a personal life and a job. I understand how busy life can get while trying to also add in those roles with school. Having done the same thing for years, I started my PhD program while my second son was 6 weeks old. I can tell you that this juggling act is more than possible, and it's definitely worth it. Going back to the course, because that was enough about me. Course is 15 weeks long, and so the content is broken up into 15 modules. They'll all be published at once. That doesn't mean that everything will be available all at once. Like some of the quizzes will be locked until a week or two ahead of each module. However, even if all the discussion posts might be open, I caution you against skipping around to complete a week 4 post or assignment or a week 8 and then trying to go back to week 1 or 2, though you can work ahead to some extent. There are components of weekly assignments like forums or even group projects that require your response that week to your peers. So before diving into any of the weekly modules, begin with the Start Here module. It details things like the course textbook and the academic integrity statement. And until you complete that academic integrity statement, you won't be able to access the other modules. So if you're locked out and you're not understanding why, it's probably because you didn't submit that academic integrity statement. The purpose of the course is to teach students communication skills in and out of the workplace. This includes concepts like speaking, writing, presenting, researching, and utilizing visual and numerical data. We will also review communication concepts like change management, conflict resolution, negotiation, and team building. Similar to other courses, students will read and write a lot, with most weekly assignments occurring via discussion forums worth 20% of your total grade. There are two major projects during this 15-week term. The first is a group presentation. I know, so group presentation sounds really scary. However, most every part of this first project is individual and will be graded as such. Essentially, you and your group will be presenting about one concept, but each group member will be assigned different tasks. The intercultural presentation, or Project 1, is worth 30% of your total grade. It will focus on presenting an informative speech complete with presentation aids and resources highlighting a country and its use of communication. You'll deliver these elements to include a transcript live with your group via a Zoom presentation with the instructor. Now, for this first project, I'll assign groups based on different factors, and we'll talk more about Project 1, or the intercultural presentation, in other modules and video lectures. The second major project of the semester is the final project. It's worth 30% of your total grade. This is similar to your intercultural presentation because it's still a presentation of sorts. However, instead of working with a group or delivering a live presentation, you'll prepare visuals and record your narration of these visuals and their import in an individual presentation. In the final project, you'll create a digital story focusing on your narrative about pursuing healthcare as a profession, matched with elements of research to support points in that story. Like Project 1, you must include a transcript along with your recording of your digital story for your final project submission. The required textbook for the course can be found in the Start Here module and as listed on the syllabus. Please purchase the required e-textbook before the end of week 1 to ensure success in the course. In particular, each week features quizzes based on the textbook readings. Concerning other homework assignments, there's often 2 or 3 weekly things to do. Sometimes there may be more, sometimes less. I've tried to pare down the assignments to the bare minimum needed to understand and complete the learning outcomes for the course. This means that most modules include 2 discussion posts and 1 quiz, or 1 discussion, 1 quiz, and 1 major project component. This does not take into account the textbook readings. You can either complete the readings or not, but if not, your quiz grades will noticeably suffer. Review the due date expectations on the screen. If you're ever cursing the amount of work you have in 1 week, remember that you signed up for this online course. I'm just the boat captain, here to navigate you towards tools for success. Each module has several parts or an outline. You can also think of it like a checklist of tasks to complete for that week. You don't have to complete the entire checklist, but if you skip around, you'll miss important details or readings that enable better success in the course. Each module or week will feature lecture materials and offer background on discussion forum topics and readings. Sometimes there are lecture videos to supplement the materials, and they often do not exceed 10 to 15 minutes, and they will be part of announcements that are pinned at the beginning of the week, sometimes in the middle of the week. I'll try to get those video lectures out pretty early in the week. This 15-week course is relayed in 2 phases of presentations, as we examined. So initially, you're wading the waters of communication, and you're expected to present live on one of the countries you choose with your group. Later, during the last half of class, you're more experienced with communication methods, and you're ready to present about yourself via a recorded presentation, also known as a digital story. Once more, navigating Canvas can seem overwhelming. However, if you navigate the course using the modules button, you'll be in a much better position throughout the semester, and you'll understand assignment expectations a lot better. To that end, you are in college now. It's part of your job to know when assignments are due. Refrain from emailing or texting me asking me about due dates. You can always check this via the modules or the Canvas calendar. Miscommunication is never to blame concerning your missing or late work, especially when online due dates are always the default. So what this means is I teach at several different institutions, and as I already mentioned, I have other roles that I'm juggling, personal life, um, other things. So if you ask me about a due date, I might tell you a date. It's probably not correct. The easiest thing for you to do is to go onto Canvas and keep track of the due dates. Life happens. I get that. Even still, all assignments adhere to the late policy as outlined in the university catalog. This means for quizzes or Project 1 drafts, you can submit up to 2 days late with a 15% daily penalty. On the 3rd day, an unsubmitted assignment will remain ungraded. The Canvas system automatically enters a grade of 0 when an assignment is late. For discussion posts, initial posts should be posted by Wednesdays at 11:59 p.m. Mountain Time, or it will be considered late. Late initial posts for the forums can be accepted until 11:59 p.m. Mountain on Sundays, but they still will receive a deduction in points per day late. I think it's like 5 points late per day. Most of the late policy, because it's most of the late policy intricacies will be laid out in the announcements. And if you visit the visual representation of the syllabus, the SWAY presentation, that also outlines a lot more about the late policy. The syllabus is a document you should review. It's our contract of sorts for the class, and even if you don't read any of it, you're still beholden to the policies therein. That means if you don't read about the late policy or a tech policy, those policies still apply to you. What's great about the syllabus is that you can find my phone number and email there. Please text me at appropriate hours of the day using WhatsApp, and texting is the fastest way to communicate with me. Or there's also Slack. And depending on the day and the time, I will probably get back to you fairly quickly if it's Slack or WhatsApp. The syllabus also reviews many of the policies you see on the screen, plus a whole lot more via the university catalog. And as you're viewing the syllabus or the modules, you may find a link for the visual representation of the syllabus in SWAY format, and that has a lot more details about stuff that we talked about in this video, and that's pinned to the modules. Please familiarize yourself with the course by exploring Canvas, reviewing the syllabus, and asking me questions. I hope you found this course navigation video helpful, and until next time.